Is that a trick question? This man was a bona fide scrub. Bona fide scrub.
This dude, I believe he's a bona fide superstar right now.
Right. Oh, well, of course, it's all about winning, baby.
Moving backwards in time and forward on this podcast, I wanted to just talk about MJ and Scottie Pippen. Scottie's got a new book coming out this week, and it's clearly he's trying to create some controversy around it and get people to obviously buy the book and, you know, be a top seller and whatnot and make some money out of it. That's all fair enough. I just don't know why you couldn't try and do it in a positive light. So he's come out and basically heavily criticised MJ for The Last Dance and saying rather than it being the true Last Dance, it was just a shrine to Michael Jordan, and he released it basically because he wanted to remind the younger generation, like yourself, Lee, that he is in fact the GOAT and it's not LeBron James. And it's all about MJ. It's not actually about The Last Dance in the season that they had there at the end of their careers. But to me, I'm just disappointed because I put Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan up on a pedestal as the best duo on the best team of all time. And for me, looking at it now, it's just really disappointing that I look at that duo and I look at, you know, the highlights of them playing together, and I look at, you know, watch The Last Dance where it looks like they're having a lot of fun. Apart from Scottie getting well underpaid, that's got nothing to do with MJ, but that's, you know, apart from him getting underpaid, to me, you know, it was all, you know, yes, MJ was hard on his teammates, but Scottie was probably not so much in that camp because he was just a really good player. But it looked like they had a lot of fun, and they obviously won championships together. So to me, it's disappointing that, you know, 30 years later, we're having these kind of conversations about the fact that everything's not rosy between Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, the best duo on the best team in NBA history. Because I look right now, and it's hard for us because we weren't living at the time, and that's what makes it difficult. But to bring it back to today's game, I love the duo of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, the Splash Brothers, and they've won, you know, 3 championships together and hopefully 1 or 2 more. In 30 years' time, if Klay writes a book and is like heavily critical of Steph, and I hear that Steph and Klay aren't getting along, that'll be a tragedy. It'll be a genuine tragedy, and I'll be like really sad and disappointed. And I'll look back and listen to media interviews that they do now and whatnot, and think, no, what you're saying is wrong. Like, you loved playing with each other. You played your entire careers with each other. All you guys used to talk about was how happy you were for each other's successes. So that's kind of, if Steph and Klay were to get into a kind of escalated controversy like this is in 30 years, that's how I'd be really disappointed. And I feel disappointed about this situation. And look, I love Scottie Pippen. I've got a cat called Pippen after Scottie Pippen. So I love Scottie Pippen. But I feel like, and I do want to preface by saying I understand he's been, like, I think he lost a son earlier. I'm pretty sure he lost a son earlier this year. So he's been going through some things, and I understand that. But it's almost like I haven't seen him in NBA media recently. I know he used to be on The Jump quite a bit, and obviously that's no longer airing. I just wonder if he's like struggling to maintain relevance, and in order to maintain relevance, he's coming up with these controversial negative takes, where what I would rather is Scottie Pippen, you used to watch him play. Obviously, we didn't at the time because we weren't alive, but you watch old highlights of Scottie Pippen, you watch The Last Dance, and you look at the way he played defense, and you can just see that basketball IQ that he had. I don't want to hear about how Scottie Pippen doesn't like Michael Jordan anymore because MJ made it all about himself in The Last Dance. I want to hear Scottie Pippen's thoughts on DeBalzac, the current Bulls roster, or other NBA players around the league, and him talking positively about current players. I want to hear him talk about that kind of thing, because I know that comes from a place of deep experience and high basketball IQ, and I really respect his opinion. I just want to hear more of that rather than looking back at, you know, his relationship, I guess, with Michael Jordan, that, you know, 1990s Bulls team.
I struggle to keep up with Scottie Pippen's take on this. I remember early in the part of the decade, he said, I know Michael Jordan's the most winning player of all time, but I think LeBron James is the best basketball player of all time. And then he flip-flops said, actually, no, nothing, no one can touch Michael Jordan. Then he's flipped back and forth. And I think it really is just relevance. And the Last Dance thing would have been the last straw for him because, yeah, he wants his respect. I mean, that 2 years that Michael Jordan was retired in the middle of his prime, Scottie Pippen nearly made it to the finals himself. He was second in MVP. He was an incredible, probably one of the best wing defenders of all time. And he wants his respect. But I don't see the harm in saying Michael Jordan, yeah, made me a better player, made him a better player. We had a great run. It's kind of almost like sad after a while. I mean, it's 30 years down the track, mate, and no matter what you do, you'll never be Michael Jordan. No one will give you the respect.
Well, do you think it's a jealousy thing, like that? That MJ just gets the plaudits basically for everything, or is it like does he have genuine disappointment there or genuine angst against MJ that he actually went about the release of The Last Dance in an incorrect way and did it purely as a way of pumping up himself to, I guess, make or let the younger generation know that, hey, I'm still the GOAT, not LeBron.
Yeah, well, you have to put yourself in issues. Imagine everywhere you go, everyone's like, "How's Michael?" Or like, and all the credit and all the reporters want to go to come speak to him. And obviously, the Last Dance documentary was all about Michael Jordan's greatness, and everywhere you go, it'll all be about Michael. So you'd only be human. I mean, I remember when Kyrie Irving was Kevin Durant said the environment around LeBron is really toxic because the players feel like they're disrespected. I mean, all the credit goes to him, and then all the blame goes to them. So after a while, after years, and I mean, it's been over 30 years, and yeah, I'm sure people are still asking about it. So it's only fair that jealousy creeps in, but I feel like I've heard this song before, and
the problem is it's a bit revisionist history kind of thing in the terms of I think there's NBA players that feel like that in terms of Kyrie seeing that LeBron was getting all the credit for what happened in Cleveland and saying, no, I don't want to borrow this. I want my own team. I want some of the credit. And so he put his hand up and said, I want to trade out of Cleveland. I think Kevin Durant saw himself win 2 finals MVPs and deliver 2 championships to the Golden State Warriors, and people still saw the team as Steph Curry's. And he thought, nah, like, as good as this was...
I was one of those people. I was one of those people. I made sure I brought that point up.
Yeah, and I think he saw that and thought, no, I want a team where I'm guaranteed to be the best player, and if we win, I'm getting all the credit, or at least the majority of the credit kind of thing. And I don't know, I just think that Scottie's saying this now, after 30 years, it's like, well, if you think that now, surely you felt it at the time. And so, why didn't you at any stage put your hand up and say, I want to trade out of here? Surely, to me, it's revisionist history. You must have enjoyed it enough to continue playing with MJ, to basically play your whole career. That now I know he left Chicago, but that was at the same time MJ left, kind of thing. You obviously liked it enough to stay there and not want to trade out to a team where you could potentially get more recognition. So that's my issue. It's a bit revisionist history to say all this 30 years after the fact.
He's not changing anyone's mind, mate. I don't know anyone that's going to...